Hey guys, I am Snoop Dogg. Today I am with Johnny Depp.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long.
What is your thoughts on Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl as Captain Jack Sparrow?
Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. A classic and, of course, a true turning point for my career. Playing Captain Jack Sparrow was an absolute joy from start to finish. The script was witty, the cast and crew were incredible, and the overall production was just a blast. It was the kind of project that you knew was special from the get-go.
Do you have a funny moment? Or what's the hardest scene?
Oh, there are so many. One moment that sticks out in my mind is during the scene on the beach where Jack meets Elizabeth and Will for the first time. We were meant to have this serious and dramatic moment, but the wind was so strong that my hat kept flying off my head. It took us several takes to get it right, and we were all cracking up uncontrollably during the bloopers. It was a real team effort to keep a straight face through all that.
You did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka, a dream of pure imagination. That was a wild ride. I wanted to bring that whimsical, chaotic charm to life, like a child's candy-colored nightmare with perfect teeth. The golden ticket scene? So intense. Gore Verbinski directed it like he was filming a horror movie, and in some ways it was. But the real challenge? Staying on that giant chocolate slide while singing Pure Imagination without falling flat on my back. Spoiler, I almost did. Even better, the dance routine with the Oompa Loompas? We had 3 days of rehearsal, and 1 day for me to remember all their names. You get sued by an elf today, they said.
What is your thoughts? Work with Freddie Highmore.
Oh, Freddie was an absolute treasure. He had this incredible range as an actor. Serious one moment, hilarious the next. Working with him was a masterclass in performance. I remember the scenes with the Oompa Loompas in particular. Freddie had this ability to keep a straight Wonka face, while the crew and I were cracking up behind the camera. We had to keep reshooting those scenes because we were giggling too hard. The best part, though? We really bonded over our shared love of Roald Dahl. We'd spend hours talking about the books and swapping theories about what made Wonka tick.
You did Edward Scissorhands as Edward Scissorhand.
Edward Scissorhands, what an unforgettable experience. I loved every second of it. My heart ached for Edward. He had all this tenderness and love bursting to get out, but he was held back by his physical limitations and the fear he stirred in others. One of the most memorable scenes, and probably one of the most challenging, the ice sculpting sequence. I remember sitting for hours while makeup artist Vay Neal worked on my intricate scissor hands. It was like being turned into a living artwork. But as grueling as it was, the final result was magical.
Winona Ryder, Kim Diane Wiest, Peg, Vincent Price, the inventor.
Oh, the cast was exceptional on Edward Scissorhands. Working with Diane Wiest, Winona Ryder, and the legendary Vincent Price. It was like being on set with living legends. Winona particularly was like the heart of the movie. She had this beautiful vulnerability as Kim. And Vincent Price, oh, his voice just added this magical touch to the film. He'd recite his lines like poetry. Every word meant something.
You did Alice in Wonderland as Hatter.
Oh, what a curious experience that was. Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, what a character. The Hatter was like a walking whirlwind of chaos with his wide smile and wild ideas. The best part? Working with Tim Burton. Can you imagine? We were like kindred spirits. Tim's vision was so unique, so rich. He had this way of making the surreal feel utterly real. And that tea party scene? Absolutely bonkers.
What's the funniest scene to the hardest scene with these people? Mia Wasikowska, Anne Hathaway, Helena Bonham Carter, Crispin Glover, Matt Lucas.
Funniest? Oh, the tea party scene without a doubt. We were all just losing it on set. The lines, the costumes, the energy, it was like a madhouse. But I'll tell you, the hardest scene, well, it was the Mad as a Hatter song. Singing those complex verses while dancing around the table. It felt like doing the tango with a tornado. But the cast, Mia, Helena, Crispin, and Matt, they were the best. We had a blast.
You did A Nightmare on Elm Street as Glenn Lance. He was only 20 at the time.
Oh, Glenn Lance in A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was a wild one. I was just 20 years old, and let me tell you, the role came with real nightmares. The funniest moment? Probably when we shot the scene where my character wakes up screaming, except I forgot to do it right after the cut. Director Wes Craven had to call out, "Johnny, sweetie, you're supposed to be terrified now." Cue me scrambling like a kid who forgot his lines at recess. But hardest scene? Oh boy, the dream sequence where Freddy grabs me through the mirror. The makeup took hours, and not just because of blood splatter. Even worse, they made us rehearse running down hallways while screaming for 2 hours straight before cameras rolled. My vocal cords still have trauma from that day.
What's your thoughts on Robert Englund when you work with him?
Robert Englund, legend. The man invented nightmare fuel. Working with him on A Nightmare on Elm Street was like being in the presence of a horror icon, but he was also one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. Funniest moment, watching him prep for a close-up by practicing his iconic Freddy growl in the mirror for 20 straight minutes, then turning to me and going, "Kid, if I don't scare you right now, we're doing it again." Hardest part? Not laughing when he slipped out of character mid-scream because his fake teeth fell out. They did. But seriously, he treated us all like family. Even let me borrow his coat once when I forgot mine, which is hilarious because it still smelled faintly of burnt rubber from prosthetics.
You did Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street's Sweeney Todd.
Playing Sweeney Todd was like playing a man possessed. I was living in the character's skin, literally and figuratively, thanks to those gruesome makeup sessions where they made me look like I'd been dragged back from hell. As for the funniest moment on set, it has to be the scene where Mrs. Lovett first gives Sweeney Todd a pie. We must have shot that scene 20 times because I kept giggling when I took a bite. The pie was so bad, like cardboard covered in sugar. I could barely eat it without my face breaking into a huge grin.
You did Sleepy Hollow as Ichabod Crane.
Playing Ichabod Crane in Sleepy Hollow was like stepping into a fairy tale, a dark, twisted fairy tale. The role was a dream, but let me tell you, those riding scenes were another level of terror. My funniest moment on set? Probably the time we had to reshoot the church scene with the headless horseman. It was freezing cold, and Tim Burton wanted to capture this otherworldly vibe, but I was shaking so hard from the cold that my body kept twitching. The crew called it the Ichabod Wobble.
What thought Christopher Walken when you work him?
Christopher Walken, absolute legend. The man has a voice that could make a grocery list sound like poetry. Working with him on Sleepy Hollow was an education in acting, and also in sheer panic. Funniest moment? Oh, the scene where he's calmly explaining how to decapitate someone mid-chase. I kept flubbing my lines because I was too busy staring at his face like, this guy for real right now? He just smirked and said, "Kid, either commit to the murder or we're doing it again." Hardest part? Trying not to laugh when he improvised an entire speech about pumpkin farming while covered in blood makeup. Spoiler, was hilarious. But seriously, he treated me like family. Even let me borrow his coat once, which is wild because it still smelled faintly of gunpowder from Pulp Fiction.
You returned Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales as Captain Jack Sparrow.
Returning to the role of Captain Jack Sparrow, it was like coming home. Dead Men Tell No Tales brought back that classic feeling of chaos and comedy that fans love. Oh, the hardest scene? Probably the battle sequences. Those ships were like floating death traps, and we had to make it look like fun. Also, my makeup, it took hours to apply. By the end, I felt more like a walking painting than a pirate.
Is Pirates of the Caribbean 6 coming?
Rumors have been swirling about Pirates of the Caribbean 6, but at this point, it's all speculation. I hope it happens. I had a blast playing Captain Jack Sparrow, and I know the fans have been waiting for more high seas adventures with their favorite rogue pirate. If there is a 6th installment in the making, I'd be thrilled to be part of it.
You did Dark Shadows as Barnabas Collins?
Playing Barnabas Collins in Tim Burton's Dark Shadows was like stepping into a gothic fever dream. That role was an absolute delight, but let me tell you, those prosthetic teeth, not so delightful. My funniest moment on set? It has to be the day we filmed the bat transformation scene. I was supposed to turn into a bat on screen while holding onto a chandelier. Well, the ropes malfunctioned and I found myself swinging upside down like a human bat chandelier. I was trying not to laugh while Tim Burton yelled at the crew.
What's your opinion on Jonathan Frid when you work him before he passed?
Jonathan Frid was a true legend. Dark Shadows wouldn't have been the same without him. Working with him was a privilege and an education. Watching him bring Barnabas Collins to life, well, that was magic. He had this effortless charm. Even off camera, he'd tell stories about the earliest days of the show, and how they made costumes out of paper bags and bed sheets. His passion for the craft was contagious.
You did Tim Burton's Corpse Bride as Victor Van Dort.
Being part of Tim Burton's Corpse Bride was like stepping into a beautifully twisted fairy tale. Playing Victor Van Dort, the awkward groom accidentally married to a dead woman, was both hilarious and heart-wrenching. My funniest moments on set? Oh, there were too many to count. Victor was so endearing, trying to figure out life after marriage while his new corpse bride wanted a heartfelt relationship. And the puppetry? Working with those intricate puppets was like learning a new language.
You did Donnie Brasco as Joseph D. Joe Pistone.
Ah, Donnie Brasco, that was a wild ride. Playing FBI agent Joe Pistone, the real-life Donnie Brasco in that film? Let me tell you, it wasn't acting. It felt more like living a double life. Funniest moment? Probably the scene where I had to eat spaghetti with Al Pacino's character while maintaining my cover story. I kept messing up because Pacino would pause mid-sentence and stare at me hard, like he could smell the law on me. Meanwhile, all I could think was, please don't make eye contact with this man. Hardest part? The silence between takes when we weren't filming but still had to stay in character around each other for weeks on end. One wrong move and boom, we blow our entire operation, or so it felt at least.
You did the movie Blow as George Young.
Playing George Jung in Blow was like walking a tightrope between humor and heartache. Jung was full of contradictions, funny, charming, and utterly flawed. It was a wild ride from start to finish. My funniest moment on set? There were so many, but one I remember was during a cocaine-fueled party scene. Me and my fellow cast members got so into the spirit of it that we forgot we were acting. We were just partying, like there was no tomorrow. It took the director 5 takes to get us back on track.
You did Rango. You play as Rango Lars.
Rango, the animated masterpiece. Oh, where do I begin? Being Rango, the chameleon with a cowboy wannabe complex, was a blast. We recorded the voice work separately from the animation, so seeing my words come to life on screen was almost surreal. Funny moment? Oh boy, there were so many, especially the voice sessions. I got to play around with Rango's accent and personality, trying out different dialects just for laughs. My favorite had to be the drunk chameleon voice I randomly improvised one day. The voice director was like, keep that in the file.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as Gellert Grindel.
Portraying Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was like playing a dark symphony. He's this powerful, charismatic figure, and yet there's something unsettling about his charm. It was like straddling the line between enchanting and creepy. Funniest moment? Probably the first time I saw the special effects team bring my character to life on film. Watching Grindelwald's hair whip in the breeze thanks to CGI was like seeing a nightmare come to life. But man, that hairspray budget must have been legendary.
You are now 62. How do you feel?
Time sure flies. At 62, I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives, which, thanks to the movies, I sorta have. It's been an absolute honor, all the roles, from the wacky to the dramatic. My body might ache a bit more than it did back in the day, but the joy of creating, that never fades.
What is your opinion on your ex? Who ruining your career? Amber Heard, then you got your job back.
Dealing with Amber and the fallout, well, that was like a dark storm cloud over my head for so long. Seeing her try to destroy my career was like watching someone destroy my life's work. But the support I received from my fans, the friends who stood by me, that was the sunshine in all that darkness. Getting my job back was like being reborn. It made me even more determined to move forward, leave that darkness behind, and focus on the things that truly matter. My craft and the people who believe in me.
How did you meet you at ex-wife Lori Ann Allison? I'm 19,831,986.
Lori Ann Allison, oh that story. We met in 1970 at a friend's house party in Venice Beach, California. I was just starting out as an actor, and she was this stunning woman with wild red hair and a free spirit. Funniest part? She walked up to me like we were already best friends and said, "You're going to be famous." Then she grabbed my hand mid-conversation because her friend called her over. That audacity, that confidence, I knew right then. This is either the start of something incredible or a disaster. Spoiler alert, it ended as both.
Would you rather date another woman, or just stay single?
After everything I've been through, hell, the highs, the lows, the chaos, I think I'm perfectly content with staying single. Romance? It's like riding a pirate ship in a hurricane, thrilling for 5 minutes, then you're drowning. These days, my only commitment is to my craft, and maybe an occasional fling with someone who appreciates that. Wink. But seriously, why chase storms when you can sail solo on calm seas?
You and the music group call Hollywood Vampires.
Oh, the Hollywood Vampires, a wild ride indeed. It's like being in a band with your most chaotic friends from across Hollywood. Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, we all just click. Funniest moment? During a live show in Las Vegas, we decided to cover the entire Grease soundtrack just because we felt like it, and the crowd loved it. Who knew we had a secret talent for 50s rock and roll? But man, the backstage stories, those are a whole other movie script.
The band been together since 2012.
Ah, the Hollywood vampires too well to now. That's a solid decade of absolute rock and roll chaos. Funniest moment? Oh, there are too many. But one that sticks out is when we were on tour and Joe Perry tried to teach me how to play guitar. While I was 3 sheets to the wind, cue me attempting a solo with one finger. Spoiler, it sounded like a dying seagull. Hardest part, trying not to laugh during serious recording sessions when Alice Cooper starts singing opera-style lyrics for no reason. We're lucky if half our albums make sense. But hey, it's art.
Rock City Angels 1986 to 1987.
Oh, my time with Rock City Angels, that was a wild ride. We were barely out of high school and thought we were invincible. Funniest moment? Honestly, pretty much everything we did off stage. We were still learning the ropes, playing gigs at any dive bar that would have us. I was the lead singer, so I was trying to act like this tough rock star, while in reality I was just a kid trying to remember the lyrics while my bandmates made faces at the crowd. It was total chaos, but the kind I look back on with nostalgia.
Pink Grenade 2014 to 2014.
Pink Grenade, what a blast from the past. That was a side project I did with a group of friends in 2014. We were just messing around, trying out different sounds. It didn't last long, but those few months were a riot. Funniest moment? Oh, definitely the time we tried to film a music video with our phones. Let's just say the budget was a pack of gum and a dream. The result was a masterpiece of amateur filmography. But hey, we had a blast making it.
You did Mordecai, Charles Morday.
Playing Charles Mordecai in Mordecai was like stepping into a world of chaos and comedy. Mordecai was this eccentric art dealer with an unforgettable sense of style and an uncanny knack for getting into trouble. One of my funniest memories on set was working with director David Cupp. He had this unique way of directing that was half serious, half funny. I remember one scene where he kept cracking up in the middle of takes, then immediately snapping back into serious director mode. Working with him, you never knew if you were making a film or a comedy sketch.
What's the funniest or hardest Gwyneth Paltrow McGregor?
Gwyneth Paltrow McGregor and I, oh boy. That combo was like a mix of elegance and pure chaos. Funniest moment? Oh, the scene where Gwyneth had to sell her character as someone totally smitten with me, Mordecai. She kept losing it because my fake accent sounded like a drunk parrot. The director cut the take so many times, we were all just howling. Hardest part? Trying not to laugh when McGregor improvised an entire speech about his pet iguana being an undercover spy. Spoiler, made 0 sense. But hey, that's how you know a set is alive.
You did Once Upon a Time in Mexico as Sands.
Now you're talking. Playing Sands in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, that was a thrill ride. Sands was this cold as ice hitman, always in control. My funniest memory? Oh man, there's this one scene where I have to throw this knife while running. The director wanted it to be this smooth, elegant move, and I kept missing the mark. After 10 takes of me looking like a clumsy idiot, I finally hit the target and yelled out, "Finally!" We all just lost it laughing like maniacs. That scene made the final cut.
What the funniest with Salma Hayek?
Working with Salma Hayek. That woman is a force of nature, talented, fiery, and hilarious. Funniest moment? Oh boy. There was this one time on set when we were filming a dramatic scene where I had to stare her down like the coldest bastard alive. She held eye contact for 5 seconds, then suddenly smirked and whispered, "Johnny, your nose is running." Cue me freezing mid-glare as crew members snort into their coffee cups. Hardest part? Trying not to laugh when she improvised an entire Spanish rant about my character's terrible fashion sense right in front of the director. It got cut. But trust me, that woman keeps it real.
What the hardest Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe, absolute legend. The man could make a grocery list sound like Shakespeare. Working with him on Once Upon a Time in Mexico was an education in acting and also sheer terror. Funniest moment? Probably the scene where he had to deliver this intense monologue about revenge, and I messed up my cue line twice. His eye twitched. He didn't say anything, just stared at me like, "Do it again or I swear to God." Spoiler, we did. Hardest part? Trying not to laugh when he improvised an entire backstory for his character mid-take. While covered in blood makeup, it got cut. But seriously, the dude is terrifyingly good at his craft.
Will you do more movies? Just retired?
Retired? As long as I can still say my lines without sounding like a parrot on espresso, I'm in. But let's be real, I'm not signing up for any more stunts that involve me running from dinosaurs or climbing the rigging of pirate ships. My back says no thanks. So yeah, maybe a few more films here and there if they pay me enough to keep this face young looking. Or at least, if the script is good enough to make it worth crawling out of bed for.
You did Benny June as Sam.
Benny and June, what an absolute blast from the past. Being Sam, the gentle soul with a love for music and mayhem, that was a joy. Funniest moment? Oh, hands down that one time where we were filming a scene by a lake. I was playing the mandolin, and I kept getting distracted by ducks floating by. I'm supposed to be all serious as this romantic lead, and here I am breaking character to go, "Hey, look at the ducks." No one could stay mad at me. Even the director was chuckling.
What is the funniest or hardest scene with Mary Stuart Masterson? Alden Quer.
Working with Mary Stuart Masterson and Alden Ehrenreich in Benny and June was pure magic. Funniest moment? Oh, the scene where Sam Me is teaching Benny Alden how to dance, but I keep accidentally stepping on his feet. We had to film it 15 times because we were laughing too hard. Meanwhile, Mary Stuart's character just sits there looking exasperated. But she's biting her lip, trying not to laugh too. Hardest part? Trying not to crack up when Alden improvised a full-on interpretive dance mid-take, with zero rhythm. The director cut the shot so many times that even he started giggling behind the camera.
Since birth, you legally blind in your left eye.
Yup. I was born blind in my left eye. People often think it's a recent thing. But nope, it's been that way since I came into this world, squirming and blind. But you know what? It hasn't stopped me from living an amazing life, from being an actor to making all these great memories on set. Sure, it's a little challenge sometimes, but it's also a lesson in resilience and adaptability. And most importantly, it's given me a unique perspective on the world.
You was born 1963. How did you feel?
Being born in 1963, I wasn't quite up to speed with the world at the time, being a newborn and all. But looking back on it now, I feel incredibly lucky. The 60s and 70s, those were wild times, full of change and adventure. We went from the moon landing to the rise of counterculture, to the dawning of the internet age. I was just a kid, but I have to say it was one hell of a ride growing up in that kind of era.
You have 2 kids, Lily Rose Depp, Jack Depp.
Oh, my kids, Lily Rose and Jack, they're the apple of my eye. Being a dad is absolutely the best, most challenging thing I've ever done. Watching them grow up, seeing their personalities shine through. It's a different kind of performance, but just as rewarding. Lily Rose is all passion and drive. She reminds me of myself at that age. And Jack, he's the calm to her storm, thoughtful and witty. Both inherited their mother's good looks and my stubbornness.
Which movies you like that you was in? Name you or top 10?
Narrowing it down to 10? That's like choosing which hat I like best. Impossible. But here we go, my top 10 in no particular order. 1. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Jack Sparrow for life. 2. Edward Scissorhands, A Dark Fairy Tale with Heart and Blades. 3. Donnie Brasco, Method Acting Meets Mobsters, What More Do You Need? 4. A Nightmare on Elm Street. My first real scream scene as a rookie actor, and still one of my favorites. 5. Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, singing while covered in blood makeup was an experience. 6. Blow, George Young, playing a real-life criminal mastermind had its thrills. 7. Alice in Wonderland had her, being mad as hell never felt so good. 8. Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, riding that damn horse through woods full monsters. 9. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Grindelwald. 10. Honorable.
You reacted somebody dressed up Jack Sparrow in Disney.
Seeing people dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow is something else. I remember this one time at Disney World. I was walking through the park, minding my own business, when I turned a corner, and there was a group of kids all dressed like Jack Sparrow. They were wearing the tri-corner hats, fake swords, eye makeup, the whole 9 yards. To top it off, they spotted me, broke into a cheer, and started following me around as a rock star. Of course, I played along and gave them a wave. It felt like getting mobbed by mini Jack Sparrow clones.
What's your favorite food or drink?
Favorite food? Oh, that's easy, pizza. You can't beat a good slice. Crispy crust, gooey cheese, and all the toppings. As for drinks, I'm a bit of an old soul when it comes to beverages. Nothing beats a classic cocktail, perhaps a smooth old-fashioned or a cool daiquiri with some sugar around the rim. But let's be real, a good strong coffee is my fuel of choice. Can't start a day without that caffeine buzz kickstarting my brain.
You beat Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, and Michael Jackson for Edward Scissorhands' role.
Hi, yes, I did beat out those heavyweights for the role of Edward Scissorhands. It was a fierce audition process. The competition was insane, with the likes of Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, and Michael Jackson in the running. But when Tim Burton saw me auditioning, something in the way I brought Edward to life caught his eye. He saw something special in me that fit perfectly with the character. I'll always be grateful for that chance.
What you said to your fans.
To my fans and supporters, my heartfelt thanks. You guys have been a constant source of inspiration, not just for my acting career, but also my life as a whole. I've had the honor of hearing from countless people who have been touched by my roles. From Captain Jack Sparrow to Edward Scissorhands. It's the most rewarding feeling in the world, knowing that a performance has been able to resonate so deeply with so many. Keep watching, sharing, and enjoying the movies. I'll keep doing my best to bring memorable characters to the screen.
What said to you our haters?
To my haters? Listen, I've been in the spotlight long enough to know that criticism comes with the territory. Some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you, and a few will just be waiting for a chance to drag you through hell. But here's what I say, haters don't pay my bills. They don't fund movies or fill seats in theaters, they just make noise. So yeah, if they want an opinion from me, tell them Johnny Depp says, keep hating, and keep missing out on better things.
Well, thanks you coming. If like saying thing before we go, you can.
Thank you for the chat. It's always a pleasure to share memories and stories with fans and movie lovers alike. Your questions have brightened up my day, and I hope I've shared a few insights that you found interesting. If there's anything else you want to know, feel free to ask. I'm an open book when it comes to my acting career. And remember, keep watching the films, keep supporting art, and most importantly, keep having fun with it all.